Hi everyone. Hope all of you have started the registrations for NEET PG 2024. There are a lot of queries that we have received over the last 2 days. One on registration for NEET PG 2024, on what to do, etc., and on queries from candidates who have completed their registration but made some mistakes or wanted to change a few things, wanted to get a few things clarified on whether this is right, whether they have to go ahead and re-register or apply. Etc. So we will be covering most of the queries in this session. Most of the queries which have come up in Telegram groups or directly to us. In case there are any further queries, we will also be answering them at the end of the session live. Post your queries after the session is over so that we'll be able to answer those as well if they are not covered in the session. The sequence of how we'll handle this entire thing is mentioned over here. We have bucketed the queries into different sections so that it is easy for you to go through. In case you are viewing this session at a later point in time, the timelines of each of these sections will also be available in the description. You can click on the timelines and directly move into that particular section which you are interested in. Now we will start with the general set of queries. So what we have heard from candidates is that there are one or two very few candidates who have had captcha related issues. So basically when you log in or when you move into the portal, there are some candidates who have faced the issue of having the captcha not reflecting properly, etc. It is a very simple issue. Just close the window and re-login, or just re-register, refresh the captcha, you will get a fresh captcha. So that is pretty much what you need to do. And as far as the login goes, in case you wish to change the password, so captcha is a simple refresh, as you can see, and in case you wish to change the password, you can use the change password link over here from the login page. So it is suggested that you change the password after the original password that you so just hold on. In case you wish to change the password, after you go into login, you can refresh the captcha, and after you, if you wish to change the password, the change password link is over here. In your mobile phone, this will appear possibly at the bottom. Just check for that and then click on change password. You will be able to change your password. It's suggested to change your password because your old password would not be the one that you usually have, and suggest to take a strong password as well. In case you forget your user ID or password, just mention your user ID. The password will be sent directly to your email or mobile number along with that user ID. Ideally, once you register, you would get your email ID in your mobile and email both. Some have been getting it only in your email, so have that always saved somewhere, or possibly texted back to your mobile phone. It is up to you to save it somewhere. At any point in time in the future too, you will need this and possibly a printout of the application form for further details for registration during the counseling, when the counseling starts. So these are two major things that we have received issues on. Login, some of them have mentioned that when I log in, I click on I mention my user ID. The user ID is basically a 10 character user ID with which starts with PG and then 24 as a year and then a 6-digit number. Now this, when you enter the details, there are some candidates who mention that even though I enter the right details, I am not able to log in. It says wrong user ID. A space here, or if you had copy pasted from somewhere else, etc., there might be leading or trailing spaces. Look at that. Help desk contact. In case you have any issues, there are two ways to sort out issues. One is to contact the NB help desk. You're able to see the screen, right? The presentation. Yeah. So here you can just go ahead and check the help desk contact details over here. These are new, not the last year's help desk contact. You can also raise a query once you log in. After you log in, you will see this page. We'll just show you that too. So this is after your final registration and submit, you will see a help desk link over here. You can click here to raise a query and then go in and raise a query over here in the help desk. That will be also be possible. It is not reflecting as of now, but you will have an option to raise a query once you submit your form or even before you submit your form. So these are the options that are available for you to connect with the NB in case there is an issue. The other option that many candidates use is just join our Telegram groups. The links are available in the description. You just search for ZyNerd NEET PG 2024. You will get the link in Telegram. We'll be answering all the queries. Almost all the queries we have already answered, and we respond back pretty quick. You'll be able to basically register at the earliest if you are able to join a Telegram group and raise your queries over there. And now we also have the eligibility related constraints. We had a lot of queries on eligibility, fundamentally based on last year's joining, allotment and non-joining, allotment, joining and then resignation, etc. So we'll clarify that very clearly. Everybody is eligible for writing NEET PG 2024 exam. The information brochure of NEET PG 2024 exam does not bar anyone from writing the NEET PG 2024 exam. Let us say you mention there are, except for one set of candidates which we will come to. So let us say you are pursuing your PG. You joined a PG course and then resigned. You are pursuing your PG and then decided to resign now. You will resign within the next few weeks. You have decided to resign after the exam results are over. All fine, whether you do a diploma, whether you do an MDMS, all fine. You are eligible for writing the NEET PG exam. Some may not be in favor of this, but that is the rule. Every year, there are a lot of candidates who are pursuing PG who also write the exam. Many of them don't join the course after the examinations, but eligibility for the exam exists very clearly, irrespective of whether you are pursuing a course, whether you have pursued, whether you joined a course earlier and resigned the course by paying the penalty, not paying the penalty, whatever be the case, whether you have done a DNB earlier and your 3 years is not yet completed, etc. You are eligible for writing the exam. Let us get that clear. Except for one small set of people for whom debarment clause of the last year applies. Who are these set of people? Those people who are All India stray allotted and not joined, All India special stray allotted and not joined. In last year's MCC prospectus, it was clearly mentioned that in the flowchart that All India stray allotted and not joined candidates are not eligible for MCC NEET counseling of 2025 for the next year. And All India special stray notification also mentioned that they will be debarred in case you are allotted and you did not join. Joined and resigned is not covered. Those who were allotted in All India stray and All India special stray who were allotted and did not join, one, they are not eligible for MCC counseling for the next year was mentioned in the flow chart. Second, they were debarred for the next year's NEET PG exam by NB was mentioned in a clause in the information brochure. Now, there have been representations from candidates who have been allotted in All India stray or All India special stray and did not join. 2023, when the same thing happened, they were able to write the exam and MCC did not release the results and debarred 47 of the 127 candidates who were supposed to be debarred. They 47 wrote the exam and they debarred. They were not able to participate in any counseling across India. This year, there have been representations to act against the debarment clause to help the basically from those candidates who were supposed to be debarred. We believe that it is likely that all those candidates will be debarred like last year. But if you still wish to take a chance, you can write the exam. There is no harm in writing the exam. MCC, when they debar, they will automatically debar, will not release your results. It is up to you to take a call. This examination brochure does not have that debarment clause or mention anything about those candidates who are debarred not appearing for the exam. Second, the roll numbers. In case I give my NEET PG roll numbers as no, let us say I am falling within this AA stray not joined or AA special stray not joined candidates. In case I give my debar last year's NB roll number as NEET PG roll number as a different number, I give no, etc. These are all not the right methods to avoid the debarment. NB will anyways debar. Last year, all the candidates, among those candidates who were debarred, there were also candidates who gave no and they were thought that they were smart enough. Your debarment rule will be removed only if there is a proper decision taken or a proper legal direction given. You will not be able to I mean, by just mentioning no or giving a wrong different roll number, that is not the way to get out of the debarment. So we wouldn't suggest that. For those candidates who were in West Bengal or in some states, the stray non-joining was supposed to be debarment. We don't know how that will be implemented. So in effect, what we are saying is, whether or not this debarment decision is taken at a later point in time, highly likely that you will be debarred. If you wish to attend and keep options of a minor chance open, go ahead and write the exam, give the right information, go ahead and write the exam, leave the debarment to them. If you are debarred, then obviously your efforts and possibly the fee paid is lost. But in case there is a change in that clause because of a legal direction or anything, then things change. So we have explained this because there were a lot of queries on this, surprisingly not necessarily from those candidates but from other candidates. But yeah, applications or OTP related issues. OTP not received on my email or mobile number. This is a general query. OTPs this year, OTPs and OTPs are received on your mobile phone usually, and some of the mails on the registration confirmation etc. are received on your email ID as well. The OTPs are you would receive within a few seconds. This time it has been happening properly. Almost all the candidates have received their OTPs within 15 to 20 seconds max. In case you have not received the OTPs within this timeline, then there is either an issue with your email or with your mobile number. So try out a different email and register again if that is the issue. If not, go ahead and try again sending the OTP with the same registration. Now let us say you come to the last stage of registration, wherein you reach this particular you come into the last stage of registration where you see this screen which is available. Okay. So this is the final declaration that needs to be done after your email and OTP are verified. You will verify your email PIN, OTP and email OTP and the mobile OTP. After both are verified, you will get a screen again. You will have to declare, add a CAPTCHA again, and then preview or re-verify. Once you preview or re-verify, you will once again get this particular image. So where it will ask you to re-verify the candidate's name, date of birth, etc. If you have not gone through this step, then your registration would not have been complete. Many candidates believe that after the email OTP and the mobile OTP are given, the registration is complete. No, there is a declaration option, and then you will have to submit and re-verify. Check every box and re-verify. Only after that, your user ID and your registration password is generated and sent to your email ID and mobile. You will receive both on your email ID and mobile. Let us say you have not received anything on your email ID or mobile. What do? You have done your email OTP, mobile OTP, you have not received anything on your email ID and mobile. You don't know whether there is an issue after registration is complete. You have not received just the particulars, or you would be wondering whether the registration is complete at all. You wouldn't have confirmation on whether the registration is complete or not complete. There is a simple method to check on this. Go back, register again with the same mobile number and OTP. Before sending the OTP, mobile number and email ID, before sending the OTP to the email ID and mobile number, if already registration has been completed with the same mobile number and email ID, you will not be able to get an OTP. It will automatically mention that your email ID has already been used for another registration. So it will be very simple. Go ahead, re-register in case you have not received the user ID and password particulars. Re-register. During re-registration, if you give the same email ID and phone number, you will come to know whether with this email ID phone number already a registration has taken place. Based on that, you can take a decision on whether you need to re-register or you need to go ahead and log in with the existing credentials, trying to connect with the NB help desk, etc. And queries on fields to be filled. This will be a little longer, will take a longer time for this because there are a lot of queries that have come up. One is on the name confusion, whether the name should be as per your ID, which is Aadhaar, voter ID, passport, PAN, or driving license, or should it be as my MBBS certificate? There is a difference in each. Let us say my MBBS certificate has a particular name. There is a minor difference in terms of your initials in my voter ID, etc. So the minor differences do not matter. This is how the entire thing works. You are supposed to give your name as per your MBBS degree, basically your MBBS certificate. When you give your name as per your MBBS certificate, forget the exams and everything. At the time of admissions, your name as in your MBBS certificate is what most of the admission authorities will take for registering you for PG, and your PG certificate will be in that name. That is how the usual logic is. Some institutes may have there might be a variation. You might be able to give a different name, but this is how usually it is. Your MBBS degree certificate, PG degree certificate are usually in the same name. So when you now enter your MBBS degree certificate as your name, during the counseling process, everything, the allotment, the current admit card, the allotment letters, and all anything that comes in from NBE or MCC will be in the same name. So it is easier for you to go and register during your admissions. Now there is an exam that happens. For the exam, let us say you give your MBBS degree certificate name, and there is a minor difference in the Aadhaar card name or the voter ID name, etc. Then in that case, if the difference is only limited to your initials, your name and surname being name, surname, father's name being in different order, etc., that doesn't make a difference at all. Let us say my name is Raghuram R. Now in my degree certificate it is Raghuram R. In my Aadhaar it is Raghuram Rajendran. No issues at all. You will be able to write the exam. This is not an issue. Only when the name has changed, I have gazetted and changed my name from Raghuram to Santosh, then there is an issue because your ID will carry a different name. When you have the same name in different order, it is Rajkumar Raghuram in one certificate, and in your MBBS certificate, and Raghuram Rajkumar in your registration certificate, in your voter ID it is different. Doesn't matter at all. As long as it is initials, your father's name, different orders, no issues. Give it as per your MBBS degree certificate. Still you have a confusion. You want to go ahead with your what is mentioned in your Aadhaar card or your voter ID. Go ahead, no problem, because MBBS certificate anyways is not asked to be produced during the examination. You can manage it later at your institute during admissions. As far as the exam goes, go do it as per Aadhaar, no issues. Even though the brochure mentions as per your MBBS degree certificate, do it as per your Aadhaar. Many candidates have done that if the name is slightly different in terms of initials, expansions, or order, etc. Mother's name or father's name, give it in full. Try to avoid dots, initials, dots, etc. But if any of your certificates have dots, etc., you can go ahead and do that. Note that your mother's name will be asked to be entered as a validation field when you actually register for the All India counseling alone, not the state counselings, All India counselings alone. Some states may also ask your mother's name to be entered as in your application form. So irrespective of what you enter, let us say you have entered only your mother's first name, doesn't matter, father's first name, doesn't matter. You can still edit it during the edit window. You missed during the edit window, that is also not a problem. But when you enter in your All India Counseling registration form, enter exactly the same name. That is what is required. Otherwise, these fields may not have much of value in terms of being verified or anything. So don't worry about that part at all. So fundamentally, mention your mother's or father's name in full. In case you missed out that, you can always edit it during the edit window. Even then, if you missed out, not an issue. Enter the details what you provided in the application form during the counseling registration. Have the application form printed out. That is what is primary. Next, marks related confusion. There is a lot of confusion with respect to marks. Enter in decimals. If you put in 75, it will not work. 75.25 in 2 decimals. That is when it will work. Second, final year marks is an aggregate of 3rd and 4th year marks. Many have entered only the 4th year marks. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and edit it during the edit window if you have already submitted. If you have not submitted, sum up your final years, get your entire subjects total marks that you have obtained on the sum it up and have it as a numerator, and then the maximum marks as a denominator, and get the percentages for final year. Similarly, for the entire overall aggregate for all 4 years, sum up all the total marks obtained during in all the subjects from first, second to and the final one, third and fourth years, and then divided by the denominator, which is the maximum marks that can be obtained. So in case you have made a minor mistake here, these are correctable later. Don't need to worry. Or in case you are not able to get the exact number, etc., you can always edit it during the edit window option, when the edit window options opens up. So don't need to worry about it. You can always edit that at a later point in time. Indian versus NRI is another question that comes up. We have already explained that very clearly in the initial demo video that we had done 2 days back. So Indian citizenship means obviously Indian citizenship. You are an Indian citizen. You have an Indian passport, or you are an Indian citizen by birth. You have the credentials for that. Now, if you are an NRI as a candidate who is registering, let's say Dr. Raghu Rajkumar is registering. Dr. Raghu Rajkumar is an NRI. Then he will choose NRI under the category nationality option, which means Dr. Raghu Rajkumar has gone abroad and has been there abroad for 182 days plus for that in the last financial year, and falls under the NRI criteria under the foreign exchange regulations. This is how it is. Dr. Raghu Rajkumar, in case the person has been there, then would know whether he or she would file taxes or would be considered as an NRI, then they would select NRI. If you are an NRI candidate yourselves, in case you have taken an MBBS seat under NRI quota, that is not what is asked. Doesn't matter. You are an NRI or not is what is asked. Second, if your father is an NRI and or your mother is an NRI, your first level relatives are NRI, first degree relatives are NRI, and you are planning to get an NRI seat in 2024. That is not what is asked. What is asked is whether you are an NRI. In case your father is an NRI, let us say, and you plan to take an NRI seat, but you are an Indian citizen, Indian candidate, you will still apply as Indian. 2 weeks before the counseling starts, you will be asked to send across your father's NRI documents to convert you from Indian to NRI, and MCC will convert it. That is the right way to go about this. Don't mention NRI over here and end up having to send documents of you being an NRI. Clear? So if you are an Indian, select Indian. If you are planning for an NRI seat through NRI sponsorship, somebody else is an Indian, select Indian. If you are an NRI, then select NRI. That is what it is. Are NRIs eligible for management quota seats? Yes, NRIs are eligible for all seats like Indian citizens. They are also eligible for management quota seats under deemed universities. So basically, deemed university seats are split into management quota seats and NRI seats. Indian citizens will be eligible for management quota seats alone. NRIs will be eligible for both NRI and management quota seats. PWD, yes or no? See, do I need to upload a certificate? No, no certificate is required for PWD. We'll come to the certificates part next. There's been a lot of confusion of what certificates need to be uploaded. Except for the images and medical registration certificates, no other certificate is required to be uploaded. Be very clear, there are only 3 certificates, 3 sets of certificates that are required to be uploaded. One are the images. We'll just take you through that. Okay, so these are the only certificates that are required to be uploaded. Your photographs, basically both live photographs, a live photograph which is captured, and an uploaded photograph, and then your thumbnail and the signature both need to be uploaded, and your medical registration certificate in PDF format needs to be uploaded. Whatever be the queries, no other certificates need to be uploaded. There will not be an option too for Indian citizens or NRIs to upload any other certificates. There is no requirement at all. So, primarily PWD candidates do not need to upload a certificate. But when you are writing the exam, in case you are opting for a scribe, you will have a 1 hour 20 minutes, I think 25% or so time, 1 hour 5 minutes to 1 hour 20 minutes, I believe, additional time for writing the exam in case you fall under certain disabilities and you are unable to write the examination, basically lower limb related disabilities. If you fall under that criteria, you can get you are eligible for availing the services of a scribe. If a scribe you are taking the services of a scribe, then you need to bring a PWD certificate at the time of the exam. That is the only time when you need an additional certificate for PWD. Rest of it all happens during the counseling process, just before the counseling progress. I mean 2 weeks before the counseling process, a certificate of disability needs to be taken from the 16 disability centers. Currently, what you would have is a disability certificate or an UD ID from the government. So these will serve for the examination. The disability certificate from your local government headquarters or the corresponding authority from your district, that will be sufficient for writing the examination. Later, from the 16 designated disability centers, before the counseling, you will have to get a certificate. Last year's NEET PG roll number. Let us say you don't have last year's NEET PG roll number now, but there is a problem of choice of city test center. Go ahead and fill no, submit the application form. You can always edit it later. So don't worry about this at all. It is fine if you say no for this particular reason and edit it at a later point in time. Let us say you missed out and you are not able to get your roll number. You can always write to us at hello@zynerd.com with your name, exactly your name as you mentioned, that at least you would remember. So, and your approximate marks or ranks of last year, let us say you say 20,000 to 22,000, we'll be able to figure that out in most of the cases. We'll try to check and let you know based on the merit list allotments which would have had your names, the complete list that was shared by your MCC, etc. We would have that data. We'll try to figure that out and help you out. But if you still don't mention anything at all, that is not a problem. It is not a stopper actually. So don't worry about this part. Registration certificate. The registration certificate, under registration certificate, you will need to mention the number and everything, and basically the internship certificate, sorry, you will need to mention, upload the certificate, right, in PDF format in less than, which should be less than 1 MB. Now in this scenario, there are a lot of queries on provisional versus permanent, basically for candidates who are completing their CRRI now. A lot of candidates have come back on these two queries. I have my provisional now, but it will expire by the time of the exam. I will get, so what should I do? It is fine. You can upload your provisional now, and when you get your permanent certificate, you can bring your permanent certificate for the examination process. This has been allowed. This is an issue every year. And when you go for the examinations, you will need to provide them a copy of a valid certificate. That is enough. So whether you have provisional now, you have applied for permanent, you might not get your permanent at that time. You will only have your provisional at that time of examination. Doesn't matter. Upload what you have now, whether it is provisional or whatever permanent certificate that you have. And then when your examination happens, take a valid certificate. Let us say you have applied for provisional now. Provisional has expired and you have applied for permanent. Upload your provisional. That is what you have. It is an expired one. We understand. Upload your provisional. That is fine. At the time of examination, take your permanent registration certificate. Even if you don't have that, let us say it takes 3 months. Candidates have been allowed to attend the exam with a provisional registration certificate which has expired. That has happened. It is a leeway. We can't confirm, but that is also possible. So don't need to worry about it now. What you have now is your provisional, which is expired. Fine. Apply for it and then try to get your permanent by the time the exam is over. Even otherwise, candidates have been provided relaxation on this part. MCC or NBE understands this as well. And 2 different registrations. I have 2 different registrations. Both are active. One is in Bihar, one is in Rajasthan. What should I do? Upload any one, that is fine. Whatever is active, one active registration certificate is fine. What if I register later in another state medical council? Currently, I have this medical council registration certificate in Karnataka. I'm going to register in Kerala later. Upload your Karnataka registration certificate now. And when you go for the examination, you only have a Kerala registration certificate. Take that, not a problem. Verified tick mark. My registration certificate is an online generated one, but I am not able to get that signature verified tick mark. No problem. Upload it as such. Let us say I have a PWD, password protected PDF. Open the PDF in Chrome, enter the password and then print that. Press Ctrl P, print that and save that password opened PDF which is available and save it into a new PDF and then upload it. So basically again, if you have a password protected PDF, don't upload a password protected PDF. You open it in Chrome or any browser, enter the password and then print it out as a PDF. You'll have a save as PDF or Microsoft print to PDF option. Save it as a PDF and then you will be able to open it without a password, upload that PDF. Now, address queries. Now, this is a major query that many candidates have come up with. I have my voter ID address as one address, Aadhaar, everything is in a different address. My permanent registration has a different address. My MBBS certificate, possibly if it has a different address. I now reside in a different address. I want to give a different communication address and a permanent registration address. So there are n number of addresses that are available. I am terribly confused. Don't need to be confused. Your addresses in any of the documents are not relevant for the entire examination. Your permanent address, provisional address, etc. are not relevant for the purpose of writing the examination. What matters is, one, you give a correspondence address. In case you choose others as the test city, the correspondence address based state is where they will try to place you first, try to get you a test center from the correspondence address based state. If you choose others as a test city, there are many states where cities are not available now, we'll give you that list as well. Now, that is the only purpose of the correspondence address. So that is closed. Don't need to worry about ID cards. Permanent address is used in 1 or 2 states. Whatever you have given, it is used in 1 or 2 states for the purpose of residence-based eligibility. Let us say you have given your permanent address as West Bengal. Only then you might be able to claim residence-based eligibility in West Bengal. If you are an MBBS from West Bengal, you might be eligible. But if you are not an MBBS from West Bengal, you should have given your permanent address as West Bengal for West Bengal state. This does not apply for other states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, etc. This does not apply. Many other states, this does not apply. They will get information during the registration for the state counselling. So, for the state counselling of certain states, 1 or 2 states, this might be a consideration. Do you need to have your Aadhaar card and permanent address in the same as the same? Ideally, yes, if you are from these states, for claiming residence later for the state counselling, not for the purpose of the exam. Doesn't matter. So basically, for the purpose of the exam, correspondence address, permanent address can be anything which is right, even if your IDs do not carry the same or your permanent medical registration does not carry the same. I'm not staying at the permanent address, doesn't matter. I'm not staying at the correspondence address, but want this as the correspondence address because I'm looking at writing the exam. I'll be staying during the exam in that place. Fine, that is perfectly fine. Mention a correspondence address and permanent address as you wish to. Permanent address should be ideally the place which is your permanent address, even if it is not the same as what is in your voter ID or any other ID cards. Slashes in voter ID, when you are entering the voter ID registration or any other registration, permanent medical council registration, if there are slashes, characters, etc., remove those and mention the rest of the digits or alphabets or numbers. That is fine. Remove the slashes or special characters and then enter the rest. System will not allow you to mention slashes, etc. It is perfectly fine. When they check, obviously somebody who is checking logically will know that there were slashes and that those are missing out there. It's not an issue at all. Image upload, the captured image upload using Android mobile, some of you have had issues in capturing in the image being captured. You can go back to a laptop or a tab, get the captured image, get it uploaded and then go back to your Android for filling. That is up to you. In case the Android device is able to capture your image, perfectly fine too. We always suggest using an iPad or a laptop because it is easier to check everything, validate before submitting, and it is also easier to enter and type everything without mistakes. But if you are doing through an Android mobile and it works, perfectly fine. Photo with or without spectacles. I have done a live capture image with spectacles, but I have uploaded a photo without spectacles, or the other way around. I have done both with spectacles. Is it an issue? No, not an issue. Last year they came up with a clause which is continuing this year too, mentioning that spectacles should not be are not allowed, but in the images, etc., they have already mentioned that spectacles, given representation of somebody with spectacles and how to take a pic with spectacles. Last year, candidates who uploaded both images with spectacles or one of the images with spectacles did not face an issue. Worst case, let us say they come back saying change something. You can always do that in the pre-final edit window. You have that option. Don't worry about that if you have submitted. It is highly likely that it will be accepted. Spectacles related issue will not occur. Even if you want spectacles in the images, but If you have a problem later, you always have an option of editing and doing, in case they come up with rejections this year, you can always do that, not a problem at all. Editable fields. There are a lot of queries on editable fields. Pretty straightforward. What are the fields that are editable? Except these, every field is editable. Whatever is mentioned over here. Name, nationality, email ID, mobile number, test center cannot be changed. Note, test center cannot be changed, which is a query that we will come up with later. Choice of test city is very critical. We are also not sure how this entire thing will pan out, but we'll give you some advice. You can take a call. Except for these, everything is editable. Currently, date of birth and gender may not be editable after you do the first application ID generation, but at a later stage you will be able to change your date of birth and email ID. Date of birth and gender, email ID, mobile number, test center, nationality, name cannot be changed. What if I want to change this? I've completed my application form. First level, second level, I am halfway through. I've generated the user ID password. I went ahead and checked my name is wrong, terribly wrong. Spelling, there are 3-4 spelling mistakes, or I mentioned my father's name instead of my name. Some of them have done that. So in that case, if you have mentioned a wrong name completely, it is not an initial expansion issue, it is not an order related issue, but you have mentioned a completely wrong name. Go ahead and re-register with a new email ID and new phone. You cannot register with the same email ID and phone number, but use another email ID an alternate email ID which you will continue to use. You know the password of for another. It should be available with you for another 6-7 months at least, and take another alternate number which you will have for the next 6-7 months. All OTPs and all registrations during the further counselings for all India and states may be based on that. So re-register if your name is right. If your email, mobile number you missed and then gave somebody else's email or mobile number, change it as well. Test center, if you give it wrong at the end and submit the test center and then want to change it, then you will have to reapply. NB provides an option of reapplying. It is a call that you can take. We will come to that. Nationality cannot be changed. For these, you can re-register again if it is an issue. MCC, don't worry about any debarment, rejections, etc. NBE in the prospectus, NEET PG prospectus mentions that if you have made a mistake in any of these, you can re-register or reapply. They have that clause itself. And they have also mentioned that if you have submitted and then you are applying again, the latest application, the one that was the newest, that will be taken into account. So no need to worry about it. That action will be taken clause is now been removed consciously this year. So if you reapply even after submitting and making your payment, your latest application will be taken as long as it is for genuine reasons like any change on these. Every field except this can be edited. Category change, they mentioned in the brochure in one place that the fields cannot be edited, like including name, category, etc. That is only in one place. In the rest of the fields places, they are very clear that clauses, they are very clear that name, nationality, email and mobile number cannot be edited. Images, PDF of registration. So this is another query that we have been receiving. Can I change my live capture image? Can I change my registration certificate? I uploaded my MBBS certificate instead of my registration certificate, or I uploaded some other certificate instead of my registration certificate. Images, including the live images and a live captured image, thumb impression, signature, the photo and the PDF, all can be changed during the edit window. Pre-final edit window, you can change these, and then during the edit window you can change these, and if there is an issue still in the pre-final edit window and the final edit window, you'll be able to change these. Now note that this is based on last year's information. We assume that it will be the same as this year. It should be the same going by the prospectus too. Date, gender can be changed during the edit window. Everything else can be changed except these. There are no queries, no more queries required. Everything else except these can be changed during the edit window, first edit window. The first edit window, as you know, will be from 10th of May to 16th of May. 6th of May, this registration is over. 10th to 16th of May. During this period, every information can be edited except these. Those are mentioned. choice of city. Now this is a real problem. Some of you who have already submitted, you would have got your state and city. It's available, which is straightforward. Thanks, Vinay. So uh, so this is available, and state or city is not available. Now what would I do? We can see that some of the states mentioned over here, Andaman and Nicobar, Goa, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Kerala, Nagaland, Puducherry, Sikkim and Tripura, test centers are not available now. And there are some states like Tamil Nadu where Chennai is not available, and in some states where very few centers are available, 1 or 2 are available, rest have been closed, etc. So pretty difficult scenario. There have been at least, I think, 45,000 applications or more, even maybe around 75,000 applications by now. Your number generated now will also tell you how many applications have already been filled. It is in sequential order. So this would mean these centers are not available now. Will centers be added later? Going by last year's experience, center additions were very, very rare. Only very few centers were added. It was not like Bangalore is completely full. So Bangalore will be added. They'll be adding more number of test centers in Bangalore, and Bangalore will come up later. It does not work that way going by last year's experience. If they add this year because of representation, we are not sure. Nobody can be sure. You ask anyone, no one can be sure, because NBA alone will take that decision based on representation. So should you wait for that? What information do we have? We'll share every information that we have. Last year, it was not so. Halfway through, the already closed centers did not pop up again for you to select last year. But some candidates this year are waiting. Basically, I am looking at Karnataka as an option. Some candidates are waiting because if I am not choosing Karnataka, then my option is to choose Tamil Nadu, some center in Tamil Nadu which is nearby, or some center in Kerala which is nearby, or Maharashtra which is nearby, based on the location. Instead of that, let me wait for a few days, and if not, select others is an option that many candidates are going with. This is one option that you have. Basically, choosing between a state or a city which is a nearest city in a state which is nearby. Basically, that is an option. That is a safer option. Let us say you have to travel 100 kilometers, 120 kilometers. That is a safer option. You will definitely get in that city. You know that it is only 100 kilometers, 150 kilometers. If it is still not available, you may have to take a call. Or you have an alternate option of choosing your correspondence address is Karnataka if you are from Karnataka, and choosing others as an option, and then going ahead with the assumption that you will be placed in the same city later. NBA has mentioned that it will take all efforts to provide a test center in the same state as your correspondence address if you choose others, but it does not confirm that at all. Last year, there were a few candidates who were posted in other states too. Karnataka, those who had selected Kerala got a test center in Karnataka even after they chose others. So this is a tricky thing. We don't have the statistics or numbers to tell you that this percentage were in other state, this percentage is in the same state. But whatever we have shared it with you. Your option is to either take a safer approach, saying I'll travel for 200 kilometers. This is a nearby city which is available, or wait for a later point in time and then choose others if the city doesn't pop up later. So there are candidates who are in both sets waiting, the candidates who are waiting, or there are also candidates who have chosen a nearby city like Pondicherry. You choose Viluppuram or somewhere nearby. Obviously, it is going to be 50 kilometers. It is a better option than waiting for Pondicherry and then getting, in case you are not getting that, moving on to some other place in Tamil Nadu or Kerala. So it is an option that you have to take. We don't have information on whether cities will pop up later. New additions will be happening later. Last year it did not happen. Very rarely new centers itself came up. Like in Karnataka, new centers might have come up, but not the existing centers. Like if you're looking at Bangalore, did not happen. This is the only information that we have. Your choice. Payment issues. Payment is not reflecting. Should I repay? Up to you to take a call. Your test center is available. We would say repay and go ahead. Your earlier payment will be returned back. 1 hour max, 2 hours max, UPA related issues, etc. repay. If you don't repay and miss out your test center, it is a far bigger issue than the 3,500 that you are going to pay. Fine. So always better to go ahead with that approach is what we would say. Your NBE will refund it within 2 weeks max in case the refund of the original payment if you repay. In case the refund does not happen, you can always pursue and then get it done after 3 months, 4 months. 3,500 should not be an issue. But if you get a comfortable test center, that is a far better one, is what we would suggest. If you're anyway going to select others, doesn't matter. You can wait for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, and then repay. Or if you're not very interested in, you're okay with any test center, doesn't matter. You can wait. How long should I wait? They would suggest 48 hours. And we would suggest 48 hours, but it is up to you. We would suggest not more than 4 hours to max 1 day. Second, in case you have an issue, you can also raise a query in the NBA communications portal or their help desk. It takes time for them to respond. It is not like you will get an immediate response. You can always do that so that you have started the process. Which is the best option? Credit card, debit card, net banking, UPI. See, every time we have this query, all of these are payment methods. It is like, doesn't matter. UPI doesn't work for a particular time period. We will not be able to evaluate that. Net banking works, credit cards work, debit cards work, and UPI work. Everything works. There have been 1 or 2 candidates who have had issues with UPI. Same would have happened with net banking too, because it is just a handshake that is provided between the bank payment gateway and then with NB. So it is not like somebody can suggest you the best option. Try out whichever is the best option for you. This is the same when you're doing throughout the entire counseling process. Everything works. So basically, new application, when do I need to reapply? There are a lot of candidates who are asking whether it is okay with reapplying because I have made some mistakes. Depends upon what mistake you have made. If you have made a mistake in your marks, in your internship dates, in your father's name, date of birth, gender, any editable field, if you have made a mistake, don't re-register. If you have submitted, go ahead and edit it during the edit window like we said on 10th. Don't re-register at all. For these purposes, it is not required. If you have an issue in the name, you lost your phone number suddenly yesterday, or your email is no longer active, you are not able to log in and you have a problem with retrieving that, then you might have many OTPs coming in, or registration requirements through your email, phone number, OTPs at a later point in time during the counseling. So then re-register or reapply. Re-registration is when you have applied but you are not submitted, you can re-register with a new email, phone number. After submission, you can still apply again, is what NBE says this year, and the latest application will be taken up, is what it says. But you will get one admit card, and that admit card alone you will use. You will not use the other admit card even if you get it. Test center change, what should I do? The only option, let us say you have given a test center. I have taken, for example, Maharashtra, and I've chosen a test center of Mumbai. Suddenly I realized that my plans have changed, and I've submitted, I've made the payment, and everything is done. Now I realize that my plans have changed. I am going to be in Rajasthan during that period. Some function is happening, etc. Up to you. You will have to take a call. If it is very, very important that you be at Rajasthan and write your exam only in Rajasthan, you will have to reapply with the new test center, provided that test center is available at that point, available now in the portal. The second application will be taken. That is what NBE says. Payment issues, date of birth, payment issues, don't, just because there is a payment issue, don't go ahead and re-register, wait or repay. That is a better option, because anyways you will have to, there's another debit which is anyways going to happen if you are going to repay or re-register. So always repay if there is a payment issue. Date of birth, gender or edit options, don't need to reapply. The queries, the help desk related information is over here. You can either call the helpline number. Payment gateway related transactions, you can open up the portal and go to the help desk link that we showed. NB communications portal for eligibility or documents related issues, and official website is NATBoard. There is also a post option. We wouldn't suggest you to post and wait for a response. It will take at least 2-3 weeks, so no point. 2 modes of support. We said one is this NB, second is ZyNerd. Our Telegram group link is available. Just search for ZyNerd space NEET PG, NEET space PG space 2024. You will find us answering every query that is there in the Telegram group. OBC or EWS, we'll end up with this. We have this final links which we will also post in the description. So these are our links and the OBC NCL links where you can see, and the links that are used for either conversion, removing your background to white in case you have a red background, pink background, etc. You can change it to white using this tool, and you can also reduce the image file size using these tools. So these are available, that will be available in the description too. In case you have a JPG registration certificate, you can convert to PDF. Obviously you would have done that or search for it. If you want support, you can do that. For OBC, EWS and NRI, we have certificates. You might need to get all these done by now. You'll have to start the process now. For the examination, for the registration, for the examination, before the counseling starts, these certificates are not required at all. Certificates are not required, but you will have to clearly check whether you are an OBC or EWS before applying. There are many queries on these. We will come to it one by one. There are also a lot of candidates whose queries tend to be like, I will be able to get a certificate. Will there be issues later if I am not actually EWS? We sincerely suggest no. We are strictly not counselors or those who advise that at all. We are actually on the other side who try to ensure that such things don't happen. So if you are not OBC NCL and you know that, if you are not EWS, there is no point in applying for it and then trying out if you are very clear that you are not these. You would be committing a fraud in case you are doing that. We wouldn't suggest that. But there are many candidates who have confusions on what is OBC NCL, what is EWS. That definitely needs to be clarified. We have done a session on OBC NCL for last year. Everything remains the same this year. So you can go through the session. But we'll get a few points clarified over here. What is OBC NCL? There is a field called OBC NCL that you would fill during the process of registration now, right? So one second. The browser page is visible. So while you're registering, sorry about the delay due to this. Okay, so while you're registering, you will have these fields which is basically the category that you need to select, right? So there you will be asked for options on general, OBC and SC, ST, and if you select general, you will have an option of whether EWS is yes or no. So based on that, your eligibility for MCC All India Counselling will be defined, not your state counselling. State counselings will have a separate application form where you will select backward class, SC, BC, OBC A, OBC B, or any other different category, MBC, depending upon what different categories are available in your state reservation. OBC NCL that you select over here is towards the central reservation. So you will have to select OBC NCL if you are eligible as an other backward class and you belong to non-creamy layer in central reservation. So what are the two criteria that you need to look at? You have to be in the central list of OBC based on National Commission for Backward Classes, based on the list which is generated by the National Commission for Backward Classes. So here you have this complete list. We'll give you this link. This is not the right link. The right link is NCBC portal's link, National Commission for Backward Classes, but that is not available as of now. So we would suggest you for the time being to go with the 2018 list. There is a a further list which is available in National Commission for Backward Classes, but that is the portal is not working. So go with this. Here, if you look at each state, you will be able to see the list of other backward classes for a particular state. I am taking Jharkhand, let us say. I click on this, you will get the list of states for Jharkhand. This is not listing out now. We'll just check and let you know if this has come up. Was working a day back. Again, this is now off. So this list, we'll try to get it as PDFs and share it with you as well. So these, if you are part of these lists for your state, your native state, then you are eligible for an other backward class based on your caste. Non-creamy layer is purely dependent on your revenue, income of your parents, father, mother put together. Their income excluding their salary, whatever salary they, whether they are private, government, etc., the salary is excluded. Other than that, whatever is their income, agricultural income is excluded without taking into account salary, agricultural income of your parents. Whatever is the additional income that you have in your ITR or based on your income certificate, that should be less than 8 lakhs for the previous 3 years. So 2023-24 financial year, 2022-23 financial year, and 2021-22 financial year, the income should be less than 8 lakhs in each of these years. Even in 1 year, if the income is greater than 8 lakhs, you are not eligible for non-creamy layer. If you are not sure whether you will be able to get a certificate or not, and this list is not available, go to your Tahsildar's office and they will be able to tell you whether your caste category comes under OBC. Almost all castes which fall under SCBC, OBCA, OBCB, MBC, MBC, etc. would come under OBC central list. But there might be around 2 to 3% exceptions. So you'll have to look at that part alone. If you're still confused, you can go ahead and apply as OBC NCL and later edit the category either during the edit option. When you know that you are not OBC NCL, you can change it to Gen, or during the counseling, they will give you an option. Till last year, there was an option to change from OBC NCL to general category before the counseling starts. So at that point in time, if you don't have a certificate, you realize that your caste does not come under the caste category, but in central list, but you are under the state list, then you can change that at that point in time. But if you mention general now, you cannot change that to OBC later. That option will not be given under All India Counselling. For state counselings, anyways, you will apply separately. This does not matter at all. This is only for central counselling. Same for EWS too. If you are confused about EWS, you have applied for EWS, you don't know whether you will get the certificate. There are some clauses which are confusing, some areas which you are not very clear about. Then you will have to go ahead and apply as EWS is what we will suggest. Later, you can change it to general category. Obviously, if you are going to, if you don't have a certificate, you will not be able to join as an EWS candidate later. You will have to take your certificate at the time of admissions at after the counseling. The institute will reject your admission in case you don't have an EWS certificate. But what can be done? You know that you don't have a certificate, so just before the counseling or during the edit option, you can always change, or just before the counseling, there will be an option for changing from EWS to Gen as far as registration is concerned. You will be able to do that at the counseling time for All India Counseling. EWS is based on like we said, OBC is purely based on your parents' income. Your father's income, mother's income. Your income is not included and their salary is not included. But in EWS, all income is included. Agricultural, salary income, every income is included. And it is basically an income and assets certificate. It is not only based on income. Income for the previous financial year should be less than 8 lakhs. Not only your income, parents' income, and if you're married, spouse's income, all these are included. And your children below the age of 18 years, their income is also included if they are earning. This is what EWS is based on. And in EWS, you should also remember that there is a central EWS criteria, which has a 8 lakh income criteria and asset criteria as well. Plot, holding a flat, etc. Is also a criteria. So based on the area of the plot that you hold, the how many square feet flat that you have, etc., you might be excluded from the EWS criteria or included based on that. So income and asset criteria you can clearly check. It is also available in the brochure. We will also share that in the Telegram group, or you can also go to the Tahsildar's office and check. This is a combination of your salary, your income, your parents' income or your spouse's income as well, if you are married, and your children's income. It is together should be less than 8 lakhs. Now, there is this criteria is for central EWS. So, you go to your Tahsildar office. In many of the states, you will have a central EWS certificate available based on the central criteria, and the state EWS criteria will also be the same, which means there will be a single certificate which can be used for both central EWS and state EWS, correct? Because the criteria remains the same, the state has the liberty to change the criteria, but they did not change the criteria. So you go to a particular state, ask for an EWS certificate, central and state certificate will be the same. In some states, for example, Kerala and I think Haryana, Rajasthan, I believe, the state EWS criteria might be slightly different from the central EWS criteria. As against 8 lakhs, there might be a 3.5 lakhs income. If you go beyond 3.5 lakhs, you may not be eligible for EWS. So based on this, you have two criteria, because you have two criteria for central EWS and state EWS, you will have two certificates. One a central EWS certificate and a state EWS certificate. Central EWS certificate is what you should base your decision on. For this particular field, you will enter EWS if you can get a central EWS certificate. If you can get a central EWS certificate but not a state EWS certificate, because state criteria is stringent, you can still go ahead and say yes for EWS here. But if it is the other way around, you are eligible for state EWS, but you are not eligible for central EWS, it is very clear, then you will say no over here for EWS. If you are still confused, you don't know what these criteria is, your Tahsildar is not able to respond, you can go ahead with EWS as yes now, change during the edit window, or you can go ahead with EWS and then change to general if you are not able to get a certificate later. Will I be eligible for general category seats if I select OBC? Yes, OBC candidates are eligible for OBC seats plus gen category seats. Similarly, EWS candidates are eligible for EWS seats plus gen category seats. So by default, anyways, you are eligible for gen seats. OBC gives you an additional advantage of having eligibility for OBC seats as well. So don't think that you will lose eligibility for gen seats. So I'll have to choose between OBC and gen. It is more of an additional advantage that OBC candidates have. If I don't get a certificate later, obviously, like we said, you can edit it later during the edit window or during the time of counseling for all India. What should be the date of issue of certificate? The date of issue of certificate should be after April 1, 2024 is what we suggest. OBC, it is very clear because the prospectus itself says for 3 financial years ending March 31, 2024, your annual income should be less than 8 lakhs. So it should be taken after April 1, 2024 to know the financial income, which is ending March 31, 2024. EWS, there is a confusion always. No date is mentioned anywhere in the prospectus, not in the NBE prospectus. MCC prospectus will not have a date. They will not respond to RTIs because they themselves do not have clarity. Unlike INISET, dates are not mentioned. So as far as NEET PG is concerned, we would suggest one thing. If you are an EWS candidate, if you can get a certificate after April 1, 2024, they will not be able to refuse admission mentioning an issue date, because this financial year you're clearly EWS, the exam is happening this year, counseling is happening this year. So till last financial year you are EWS, and the latest certificate that you can get is after April 1, 2024. No institute or no counseling authority can refuse an EWS certificate taken after April 1, 2024. You will be 100% safe with that EWS certificate. But if you have one taken before April 1, 2024, I took one on March 15, 2024. It might say 1 year validity, but there are some institutes, like let us say we will take the example of some central institutes. They may not accept it. They will ask you one after April 1, 2024. So it is always better to go ahead and take another one. Some states may not allow, saying that this has 1 year validity, it is clearly mentioned, go and tell them, etc. But still somehow there are certain institutes which refuse. Always better to take one, otherwise try with the earlier one itself. You would suggest taking one after April 1, 2024. What if I later move out of, this is another query. I am EWS now, I am OBC now. This year, till last 3 years, my parents' income was less than 8 lakhs. But going forward, from 2024-2025, or when I am doing my second year, if my parents' income goes beyond 8 lakhs, should I keep submitting these certificates, or what will happen to my seat? Your eligibility is based on the current eligibility criteria. Once you are eligible rightly as per the current criteria, you will be able to apply as OBC, get a seat as OBC, and that is it. Beyond that, if anything changes in the status, that does not make a difference. Be very clear. Eligibility is based on financial year ending March 31, 2024. If you are eligible, you get an OBC certificate properly as per eligibility and submit it. That is enough. During the years of post graduation, whether your eligibility changes or not doesn't matter. Same for OBC and EWS. And will they ask for income certificate or any proof later in the college? In the college, an OBC certificate is required, EWS certificate is required. OBC certificate has to be from Tahsildar or above, EWS has to be from Tahsildar or above. These are the only certificates that are required to be produced. For getting an OBC certificate, we have a clear video done. What documents may be usually asked, you can check those videos. If you are submitting an income certificate for the OBC, getting the OBC certificate, that is not supposed to be asked by any college. They just need your OBC certificate. It is the Tahsildar's responsibility to check everything and get an OBC certificate. After you get an OBC certificate, your OBC certificate alone is required for the college. Now, why does this question come up? We are not sure. If you have an income certificate, obviously you can produce an income certificate. There are certain queries that come up, like should I need to submit my ITR? Will the college later call for an ITR? What if they find out that I am ineligible later and then ask for documents, etc.? Obviously, if you're ineligible and then took up an OBC certificate, and if they ask for documents, obviously your seat is going to be lost and action will be taken against you. So please don't do that. We wouldn't suggest that at all. So if you're eligible, then go ahead with this is what we will suggest. If you're expecting us to answer a query saying that they will not ask, that we may not be able to do. So that is pretty much as far as OBC and EWS is concerned. We will go to the